Ever feel like, like you're just adrift on this ocean of existence, searching for something more.
Deeper, yeah.
Deeper. Well, today's deep dive, we're plunging headfirst into the Anurag Sagar.
Ah, beautiful.
Which, by the way, translates to ocean of love.
It does.
How fitting is that? And we're navigating this ocean using, get this, German translations.
Wow, talk about a journey.
Right. Multi-layered, to say the least.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a text attributed to the 15th century mystic Kabir. Now, this guy, he was something else.
A true original.
Right. I mean, blending Hindu and Islamic thought, urging people to, experience the divine directly, no rituals, just straight to the source.
Direct experience.
Yes. And his poetry.
Don't even get me started.
Oh, we're getting started. It's packed with these metaphors that just, they make you stop and think.
They make you hit pause.
Yes, hit pause on everything, right. Like, for example, the parable of the cuckoo bird. It's in the excerpt, Paradigma des Cuckoos. Oh, this is one of my favorites. It's about this cuckoo chick, right? And it's raised by this, well, let's just say clueless crow.
Naive crow, perhaps?
Very naive, because cuckoos, they like to lay their eggs in other birds' nests, right?
It's a classic cuckoo move, nature documentary stuff. But in Kabir's hands, within this spiritual text, it takes on a whole other meaning.
Exactly. He's using this bird behavior to tell us something about ourselves.
Indeed.
What do you think? What's the message behind the crow's acceptance?
Well, I think it could be about the dangers of blind faith, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
The crow, maybe symbolizing a less discerning mind, just accepts whatever's presented. But Kabir, he's urging us to be more like the Hansa bird, the one described in the Eigenschaften des Hansa.
A Hansa. Okay, now this bird is fascinating. It's said to be able to separate, get this, milk from water.
No way.
Talk about knowing the real deal, right?
The real from the unreal.
Exactly. So what's the significance? I mean, you've got the crow, easily fooled, and then you have this discerning Hansa. What's Kabir getting at?
I think he's highlighting different levels of awareness, you see.
Oh, I see, yeah.
The crow, with its limited perspective, could represent those trapped in illusion.
Okay.
While the Hansa, with its keen vision, embodies a higher spiritual understanding.
So it's not just about being smart, right?
Yeah.
It's about seeing through, the surface to the truth underneath.
Precisely.
Wow. And this leads us to, I think, a really important concept in the Anurag Sagar, the Wissenden.
The wise one.
Yes. And the power of name.
Which is often interpreted as the divine name.
Right. But it's clearly, signifying something much, much deeper. It's this Wissenden, this true essence of being. It's hidden in plain sight.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere. But only recognizable by those who know how to look.
Those who have the eyes to see, right?
Yes. And name, it's not just a word you say.
It's more like a vibration.
A vibration.
Yeah, a divine vibration that connects us to something bigger.
And it's powerful, too. Kabir says in the Sarshab passage that the true word, it can actually shatter a fragile egg.
Now, that's some potent imagery.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think this fragile egg symbolizes? In us, I mean.
Well, I think it's a powerful metaphor for the ego. Trapped in its limited perspective. The true word, the realization of our true nature, breaks us free from that shell.
Wow, I'm starting to see why they call this the ocean of love. And you know what? We're just scratching the surface here.
Oh, yeah.
It's already
mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing is an understatement. But before we get too lost in the metaphors, let's talk about paramarth.
Ah, yes.
Paramarth?
It's this concept of ultimate reality.
Ultimate reality, exactly. Kabir's way of pointing to what's really real, what's fundamental. He compares it to a cow, actually, in Beschreibung von Paramarth.
A cow. Okay, now, I have to ask. Cows they're important in many cultures, but what's the connection here? Well, in India, cows are revered. They're seen as sacred.
Yeah.
They're nourishing, giving milk, butter, even fuel. Kabir is suggesting that paramarth, this ultimate reality, nourishes us in a similar way.
So paramarth, this ultimate reality, is like this ever-present source of sustenance, even if we're totally oblivious.
Yes.
But how does the individual, the jiva, fit into all of this? Because in the Veranschaulichung excerpt, it says that the jiva is like a single drop.
A drop in the vast ocean of name.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Isn't it? Imagine a single drop of water. Pretty insignificant on its own, but when it rejoins the ocean,
it becomes part of something much, much bigger.
It becomes the ocean.
So our individual selves, these jivas, they find their true significance by merging back into the ocean of name, the divine essence.
That, my friend, is the ultimate goal. To transcend our limited sense of self and experience unity with something larger.
Wow. Okay, so we're not meant to just like bob around on the surface of this ocean.
Yeah.
We're meant to like dive deep.
Dive deep?
And rediscover our connection to the whole. But hold on a second, because Kabir, he doesn't sugarcoat things.
No, he doesn't.
In Paramarth, their spiritual weg, there's this stark warning about demonic people.
Yes.
Who can, well, lead us astray. So who are these demonic figures and what's their deal?
I don't think he's talking about literal demons with horns and tails.
Okay, good.
It's more about those influences that hinder our spiritual growth. You know, those who might exploit others on the path. False teachers.
Oh, I see. So it's a reminder to be discerning.
Yes. Even, or maybe especially, when we're seeking something bigger than ourselves.
It's like, are we going to be like that naive crow, just blindly accepting whatever comes our way? Or are we going to cultivate that Hansa-like discernment, to make choices that align with our deepest truth?
It's a journey.
It is.
And it requires us to constantly question, to explore, refine our understanding.
And it sounds like Kabir wants us to use the Anurag Sagar itself as like a map for that journey.
He does. In the Dasenda section, he speaks directly to the reader, almost like he's saying, pay attention, let these stories, these metaphors guide you.
It's like he's giving us the cheat codes to a more meaningful existence.
Oh, I like that.
And who doesn't love a good cheat code, right? But before we get lost in the Anurag Sagar ourselves, let's pause here for a moment. We'll be back soon to unpack what all of this means for you, our listeners, and how you can apply these ancient teachings to your modern life. Welcome back to the deep dive. Man, before the break, we were really getting into it, huh?
Yeah, Kabir will do that to you.
The Anurag Sagar, it's like profound teachings, but they're like disguised as these poetic stories.
Because what makes it so engaging, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. And memorable. I mean, we talked about cuckoos, discerning Hansa birds. We even got into the nourishing qualities of cows.
It's all connected.
Okay, so how do we actually use this wisdom in our own lives? It's easy to get lost in the metaphors, like what's the takeaway? What's Kabir really trying to tell us?
Remember those demonic figures he warned us about?
Oh, right. Yeah. Spooky.
He wasn't talking about literal demons. It's more about, those influences, those things that kind of block our spiritual growth.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like those friends who just want to gossip all the time.
Yeah.
Or those internet rabbit holes that you emerge feeling worse.
Exactly. It's about paying attention to what we're letting in. Remember that image of the jiva as a drop in the ocean of Nime? We can pollute that drop with negativity or
we can choose to immerse it in something pure.
Precisely.
So it's like we're constantly merging with something, right? Like, are we going to be the naive crow, accepting everything, or the
discerning Hansa?
Right, the Hansa, choosing carefully what we allow into our world, into our minds.
And that's where cultivating that discernment, that Hansa-like discernment, becomes so crucial. We have to be honest with ourselves. What are we most drawn to? What really consumes our thoughts and energy?
It's about figuring out where our allegiance truly lies. There's this part in the Schlusswort des Anurag Sagar where Kabir, he compares, get this, a devotee to a honeybee.
Oh, yes. Instinctively drawn to the fragrance of the lotus.
Yes. And it made me think, what are we naturally drawn to in our own lives? Is it something that nourishes us? Or does it keep us stuck?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's a call to really examine our motivations. What are we truly seeking? Fleeting pleasures or something deeper, more lasting, more meaningful?
Deeper, more enduring. I like that. It reminds me of that feeling you get when you stumble upon something truly beautiful in nature or when you really connect with another person, like on a deep level. But how do we know? How do we know if we're on the right track? What are the signs that we're aligning with Paramarth?
One sign might be a growing sense of inner peace. Yep. Which isn't to say that life suddenly becomes easy or problem-free. It doesn't. But you develop a kind of resilience, an ability to face challenges without losing sight of what really matters.
So not eliminating the chaos, but maybe learning how to ride the waves a little better.
Exactly. Yeah. When we're grounded in Paramarth, we're not so easily swayed by external circumstances. There's a deeper sense of purpose, of direction.
Okay, so we're cultivating inner peace. We're dodging those demonic influences. What else? What else can we do to stay on this path towards Paramarth? And Going back to that cow analogy, Kabir likened it to this, like, ever-present source of nourishment. How do we tap into that?
It's not enough to just, understand these concepts intellectually. We have to embody them.
Okay, yeah.
Take numb, for example. It's not just a word, right? It's an active force. We can connect with it through practices, meditation, chanting, or even just by really focusing on the present moment.
So bringing the teachings to life, not just thinking about them, but actually, like, living them.
Yes, making them a part of your lived experience. The Anurag Sagar isn't meant to be a dusty old book on a shelf. It's a guidebook.
It's like a spiritual instruction manual.
Exactly.
Disguised as poetry.
Kabir was full of surprises, wasn't he?
The best kind. But before we give away all his secrets.
Well, the best secrets are the ones you uncover for yourself, right?
True. And speaking of discoveries...
Ooh, I see what you did there.
When we come back, we'll explore what this journey of self-discovery might look like for you, our listeners. Stay tuned. Back again.
We've been on quite the journey with this Anurag Sagar, huh?
Quite a journey is right.
From deceptive cuckoos to, like, this whole boundless ocean of nam.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. But, Kabir's work, it's this powerful reminder, right? That real transformation, it takes more than just, head knowledge.
Right.
We have to, actually do something.
We have to put it into practice.
Yes. Put these teachings into practice in our everyday lives.
Exactly.
So it's not enough to just listen to this deep dive and be like, whoa, mind blown.
It's a good start, though.
It is.
Yeah.
But then what? What do we do? How do we actually practice this Anurag Sagar wisdom? How do we take all these metaphors and make them real?
Well, it starts with awareness, doesn't it?
Awareness, okay.
Kabir, he's always challenging us to be discerning, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, like that Hansa bird.
Exactly. Pay attention. What influences you? As you're, going through your day, what draws your attention? What are you consuming? And are those influences, are they leading you towards that sense of connection, towards Paramarth?
So it's like this constant self-check-in almost.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, am I giving my mind junk food or am I really trying to nourish it?
Exactly. And Kabir, he wasn't all about, deprivation.
Right.
He understood that we're drawn to things. Like, look at that honeybee, drawn to the fragrance of the lotus.
Yeah.
So it's about finding the things that nourish your soul, the things that align with your desire for growth.
Find your own personal lotus flower.
Exactly.
The thing that, like, calls to you, like, deep down.
And when you find it, don't be afraid to explore it.
Dive right in.
Exactly.
It's like Kabir's giving us permission, to be seekers, to be curious, to be open, to always be searching for that deeper meaning.
And, you don't have to do it alone either.
Oh, right. This is key.
Find guides, connect with other seekers, share your insights, share your experiences.
Because the journey is always better with company, isn't it?
Always. Kabir reminds us we're all just drops in the same ocean, ultimately. Connected, part of something much, much bigger than ourselves.
So beautifully said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. But listeners, you know the drill.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
Keep seeking.
Keep seeking that which nourishes your soul, that guides you toward your Paramarth.
And maybe, just maybe, you'll find that the journey itself
Yes.
is the destination.
I love that. And until next time, friends, keep diving deep.